Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Tuesday morning? It is the first of the month, so wake up. All right, so welcome to the official Trade Talk channel where I show you how I analyze price for the most consistent and higher probable entries to help you become better traders. Just getting sit up right quick. All right, so yesterday Bitcoin had a pretty fantastic pump. There's a lot of speculation as to why. There's the Russians are transferring all their rubles into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's going to $100,000 again here in just a few weeks, according to crypto Twitter. The reason Bitcoin pumped yesterday, that could be it. I mean, yeah, they could be doing that, seeing how the U.S. just did put sanctions on them. So they could be transferring some of their funds into there. The United States of America did ask all the brokerages across the world to not allow that to take place. Obviously, they can't enforce it in brokerages such as Binance and things like that. But typically what you'll learn in this world is when the U.S. wants something done through a business or whatnot, they will figure out a way to get it done. So, as far as the pump going because of that, that could drive speculation, sentiment, absolutely. But the one thing that nobody is talking about, absolutely nobody on crypto Twitter for the pump, is this big gap up right here on the dollar. Yesterday, we did not trade anything because of this gap. Now, typically, I always say don't try to trade towards the gap fills and everything like that because they don't have to fill. However, on the DXY, they typically do fill, and they typically do fill quickly. So you can see all day yesterday, big gap up. That price action all day yesterday was because of the DXY selling off to fill that gap. Now, technically, the gap is not filled, but you can see here this old resistance level where you got a tag there. That seems to be sufficient enough for the market to consider this gap filled. So now you're starting to see the DXY climb. Now, will that affect Bitcoin? Obviously it will. The thing is in when you have two currencies trading against one another, just because one of them is going up, i.e. the dollar right now, does not necessarily mean that the other one will go down, because if the other one is stronger than the dollar, then it can rise. So Bitcoin can still climb even if the dollar climbs as well. But you just have to understand that that gap was filled. So now we're looking for trades. All right. So am I going to short this? It's at a pretty good spot to be considered as a short opportunity. I would probably want to see a resistance test and hold. You have gotten that twice so far. This candle formed resistance. This candle tested resistance and it held. You can see that there is no downside coming. Shorting into a move like this is very dangerous. Very dangerous. It is not a high probable scenario. What you probably should do is just leave it alone. If you watch Saturday's upload, well, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. But on that video, I basically said we were looking for this to occur because of the last 3 days worth of price action was bullish. So coming into the beginning of the week, we were looking for a pump. I just did not expect it to be as big as that. So if I pull up this little drawing tool here, come in, come down to the correction and then go up to the top, you can see, oh, sorry about that. I forgot this thing keeps going. You can see how very similar that is in size, right? So this slide up, this correction, that slide up. They're almost identical in moves. So now you have this pump, then you have your corrective phase, then you have another pump that is almost identical or an equal move to your first pump. That's a good move. So are we going to look to go long? No, because you're in a bear market, right? Not yet. We don't want to look to go long. We did close out the month green, we did close the month up above the support level we were watching. Oh, we did close the month out green. Yeah, nice. Closed the month out green, all because of that 1 day. 1 day's worth of price action essentially pulled this thing out of red into green. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. We come over here to the 2-week chart. You can see that you are currently trading above resistance on a 2-week level. So you closed out the 2-week candle below support. This is a trap. All right, this is a trap. So that's basically what happened. That's why you got such a massive, massive move here. This is a short squeeze. All right, so if you look at price action, it formed resistance yesterday. We were looking for potential shorts yesterday based on what we saw Sunday night. So price action trades lower, then you come up and you find an area of potential resistance, and then that resistance starts to hold. Now, the reason we did not get short is because of this candle right here. We wanted to see if this candle would make a trap. It did not. It did trade up into the resistance and then closed back under, but I was looking for like a stop run and then a trap candle to be formed. Then we could have looked to take the entry on the next push higher. But if we go into the 5-minute chart, you're going to see that this push higher was not something that we wanted to short into, because it was just absolutely insane. Boom. Straight up. That's on a 5-minute chart. That's a 5-minute candle. So with that right there, that is not something we look to short ever. If that was going to be a short entry, I would have wanted it to stop right there and then start to roll over. So where is it now? Well, you can see on your higher time frame charts that you're above your 2-week resistance level. You're above your weekly resistance level. Now, obviously, the weekly resistance is only going to be good at the close. And the week just got started. A lot of stuff can transpire here, but you did have a little trappy action to the downside on Sunday. So Sunday, seeing that negative or that sell side pressure come in, then it looked like it was setting up a short side entry, just smoked everybody. So that is why you're seeing price scream to the upside. Couple that with the dollar and then the speculation with Russia buying or transforming all their currency into Bitcoin, you get a pump. But I've been screaming this since we put in the lows down here. You got to be careful, because in higher volatility, you can get upside rips just as big as you can get downside pushes, right? But since we put in this move on the day that Joe Biden had his speech, you came in, tested it as support right there. So Bitcoin is moving higher. So we're not going to look to short it today. You can if you want. Just understand that you're trying to short something that is obviously squeezing. You get a big move like this, typically the next day you're going to see sideways price action. This is exactly what's going on now. This is bullish. This looks very bullish. So you could potentially see a spike lower tomorrow and then another candle higher. This up here is your yearly open, all right? You can see that was our target over here, but it fell short of it. Put in this big move lower, so we're going to see if price wants to go on up in there and test that. That's setting at $46,211. I want to see how price reacts to it. I want to see if it actually goes up there, smokes these swing highs, and then rolls over for more bearishness. Because there's nothing in the world that's bullish. Nothing. There's no reason at all that Bitcoin should be seeing these kinds of moves other than, volatility. If we go over here to the S&P 500, you can see that you are slightly pulling back today. All right, so here we go. This was the DXY gap. SPX, same thing. Big push lower. Traded all the way back up, filled the gap, and put in this nice little trap and then rolled over. You're coming into support. This is an old weekly open level. Let me go see where this is. It's definitely not our new weekly open, so we got to get rid of that. But that's going to be support anyways on a weekly time frame. So we'll put that there, but let's go back into the intraday time frame. So yeah, there's support on a weekly basis. Here is our new weekly open. You're trading right under it, so this looks more bullish than bearish to me. Yeah, you're getting a pullback, and you could see lower prices if the dollar keeps going higher, but when you push up into a resistance level like this and you stay close to it, then you want to look for that trade. So I'm not necessarily saying we're going to be looking to buy the S&P 500 today, but if it's unable to close below this support level down here, then we potentially will be looking to buy it. The other trade that I am looking at right now is a pound dollar short. It's too late, so never mind. It already took out the target. This move just started happening when I woke up, so it didn't really give us a chance to even take it. Yeah, so I mean, it's been one-sided since I woke up. So what we were going to look for is we were going to look for this to push up, because you did put in a bearish engulfing here, an outside range candle. We were going to look for price to push up into that Heath level right there, then look to get short targeting the low of day. And if you come right here, you can see this is your open. This is today's open candle right there. So this is your low of day. So price has already taken that out. So that trade is scrapped, because once you do that, that's the target, right? I don't want to try to target the new low of day. I always want to target that. So once that's already taken place, the trade's already happened. So we'll have to look for something else to trade today. But we will probably be looking for bullish dollar. Euro USD is coming off pretty good now. Did not fill the gap completely, but apparently price is going to treat that as gap fillage in the village. Now this is the thing, it can find support easily and then rip up in the next day or so. So we're going to have to just be very, very patient. In heightened volatility, you definitely want to be very, very picky about your trades, because, you know, you can get stopped out rather quickly, rather easily, and that's not really something you want to do. You want to take those winning opportunities. Here we have the USD Canadian dollar. We do have NFP this Friday, non-farm payrolls this Friday. That'll probably see what's going on. There is a rumor out there, or there's been a couple articles printed that the U.S. probably, or the Fed will probably not hike now because of this invasion. It's true, that could potentially happen, but I did check, and the 80% chance of a rate hike is still on the table for March. That hasn't changed. So we'll just have to wait and see what the Fed decides to do. There's no point in trying to speculate what the Fed is or isn't going to do, because whatever the Fed's going to do has already been priced in. So even if the market does see a 50-point basis or a 50-point hike, that's probably already priced in, and it might be a sell the news event or something similar. So we'll see what happens. But this thing right here has been trading inside of a range for a couple months, just trading sideways in this range. Let's see here. Let's go to the monthly so you can see it. There's the 2 week. Here we go. So you can see this range for months. Now, the wicks are well outside of the bodies, but the bodies range is what I'm talking about, because that is monthly res and this is monthly support. And you can see that you had a big, nice breakout and then a reversal. So probably, I don't know, right? What can we do when this happens? The trade was after you took out the low, but you can see yesterday this thing spiked all the way back up to resistance almost, and that would have been the potential entry. You're seeing downside continuation, but you're getting ready to come into that support. And if the dollar strengthens up, the reason CAD is strong is because of oil. Oil is ripping off everybody's faces. It's at $102 this morning. So as long as that's going on, Canadian dollar will be strong. We have seen strengthening in the US dollar as well. So that is why this is trading in, excuse me real quick. Sorry. So that's why this is trading sideways. When you have two strong currencies together, you get a lot of sideways motion. Not really a whole lot going on there. There's your US oil. Big strong move. Nice little fake out move here. Then you got some downside continuation. Just sets the trap. But no supports were broken. Daily support has been intact since it was formed there. Still intact, still intact. So oil's ripping to the upside. That's going to be your bullish target. Or, it was the bullish target. Now it's too late to take any trades aiming at that. If you think oil is going to continue higher and you just want to buy it, that's one thing. But this thing has been absolutely one-sided since the March 2020 sell-off. You're up over 1,000,000% if you go from where that thing went down to up to the high. So this was the best moving asset for 2020, 2021. So this thing's made a lot of money A lot of people, a lot of money. Straight up. Straight up. Just a couple days of pullback and you're moving higher. That trend's likely to continue. Likely to continue. And then let's go look at gold. Finally, gold had a big, strong move. Then it started to pull back. You can see that it is starting to retrace some of that movement. That's risk on, right? That's what risk on looks like when you have gold and stuff like that moving higher while the S&P, everything else coming off. So that could affect Bitcoin today. But like I said, since you had that big, big rip, you got to be very careful about trying to take shorts, because likely this candle is just going to be a very tiny range-bound candle today, and then you'll get another move potentially tomorrow. Good morning, Pepe. Let's go over here and look at Luna, because it is just shy of breaking out above its all-time highs again. Where are you, Luna? There you are. Strong move on Luna. There is your all-time high. So like I said, you are just shy of getting back up there. That is insane. 7.93% off the all-time highs. Just straight up move. I have no idea what's causing this to go on, but Luna, a lot of people like it. You can see that it's just going one direction overall. Even when Bitcoin was coming off, this did not suffer as bad as some other assets did. You dropped 55%. Hang on one second. I'm gonna kick your ass. Come on. Go wake her up or something. You can't just sit here and meow. I guess he wants me to feed him. It's a little bit early for that, so he's probably just going to whine a little bit. But yeah, Luna's moving up. I didn't see anything else like getting any sympathy off of it. Usually Solana will move a little bit with Luna. If you come over here to Solana, you can see that it definitely is not getting any of that sympathy. However, you do have a big bullish day here. Support held. This is a run below support, but then it created a new support. That support is currently holding. You got a nice rip to the upside there yesterday. So that's following Bitcoin. This is in a very solid downtrend, but if Bitcoin's going to bounce and other assets are going to follow it, right? So look for some of these ones that you know to be stronger if you are looking for bullish price action to continue. Some of your stronger ones that were stronger during the rallies, I would probably look to try to jump in some of them to the upside. We don't know how long the rally is going to last. And being in an overall bearish market, pops and prices usually get sold into. But Bitcoin is definitely making what appears to be a bottoming formation. Very, very, very close. Another thing here is we were looking, since the breakout occurred, we were looking for Bitcoin to find a higher low support and then rally, right? Because that's what you expect when an asset breaks out of a descending wedge or triangle or just a downtrend. Whenever you get that massive breakout like that and you want to see bullish continuation, then that's what you want to occur. You have to have that higher low set in. So here's the trend line that I broke out above, came in and set a higher low. Even though the higher low was very, very close to making a new low, it is still a higher low. So this breakout is still intact. That's why we're leaning a little bit more bullish in the near term on Bitcoin. But, longer dated, like a month from now or something, we're probably going to be looking for the bearish price action to come back in, just depending on whatever happens with the Fed. Do I expect Bitcoin to make new all-time highs from here? No, I do not. I absolutely do not, but I've been wrong before. So, that's what we can watch. Absolutely, just check out this price action, see what happens. There's a swing high right there, so that is going to be a pretty good near-term bullish target if you can create a support and hold on to it. This swing high right there will be a pretty decent bullish target. And since you're so close to it, It looks like price does want to go over there and take that out, get another yearly open test. But we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. I just don't think there's going to be anything to do today specifically. Like I said, we are seeing the dollar pull back, but that gap did not fill all the way, so makes me a little bit iffy. But you're getting a nice bounce. Makes me a little bit iffy. There's this little bit of price here, but if the market considers that gap filled, then it'll stay filled. There's a small gap there that didn't get filled on the USD, but we'll see what happens. Check USD JPY. All right, let me go over here and look at it. Oh, it's getting crushed. So this is going to be yen strength. We've been looking for yen strength for so long. It just is not showing up. So that kind of makes me, think why wouldn't it? I mean, in a risk-off scenario, the yen and the Swiss franc index usually go up, but they're not this time. I mean, Bitcoin has 55% corrections and goes higher. It just did that, last year, so it's possible it can do it again, but we'll see. If this is moving down with the DXY moving higher, then it's obviously yen strength. Yeah. So I guess keep an eye on it. You're at support. I wouldn't look to buy it. But that was a fantastic move. I mean, there's your weekly open. Price trades right up into it. Not all the way, but close. And then you see continuation to the downside. Be very careful. Looking for continuation. Big rally and then a dump. It's what we've been seeing lately. Price action has been very difficult. Very difficult. What breed is my cat? It's a mutt. I have no idea. His name is Pepe. He is black and white. He looks like Pepe Le Pew. That's why he's named Pepe. What, baby? I woke my girl up. She said he's not a mutt. He's a tuxedo. Let me go up real quick just to make sure I didn't miss any important questions. Good morning. There's a lot of good mornings. Thoughts on Euro USD? Well, I want to go short on it, but it needs to show me a resistance hold. The problem is what we've been seeing in the Forex market is the moves have been occurring during the London session. This one included, right? So there's really nothing to do on it right now, simply because that's the move that we're looking for. So when we take a short entry, we're looking for the daily low to be taken out. That's our target. And you can see that this has already done it. So your high of day, potentially, if this continues to be the high of day, your high of day was set during the London Open. And that happens a lot. The London Open usually sets in the high or low of day. Not always, but a lot of times. It happens so often, in fact, that a lot of your professional traders know this stuff. Just like in the U.S. equities, in the stock market, not always, but usually, you'll know you'll have a higher low end of the day around 11 o'clock in the morning. So that kind of falls in the same line with, the London Open usually puts in the higher low of day. You can test it for yourself, right? I think it happens higher than, it's higher than 67%. So yeah, you can make trading decisions based on that. 3 o'clock in the morning, set in the high, and then price rolls away. So, I mean, since the daily low is taken out, are we going to look to get short this? No, we're going to look for something else to trade. Now, if it comes up and finds resistance, say roughly right here at this swing low, then maybe we can look to get short and aim at the new low of day. But that's going to make you shorting the low of the day. And shorting the low of the day is never fun. That's a pretty good size move, too. That's 26 pips. So these things are moving, man. It doesn't look like it, but they're moving. That gap lower was over 1% on Euro. For some reason, this is Forex.com, and Oanda doesn't show gaps, but Forex.com does. But even though it shows gaps, there's not a gap here. It just opened and dropped. Boom. So that's going to be a target because that's the swing low. That's where resistance or support was found. Price trades up, doesn't quite fill the gap, and then you're starting to roll away from it. And that's what we were looking for. I was just kind of sort of hoping that it would happen during the New York session and not the London session. Good morning, good morning. Carl says, Netflix thriller music, so epic these days. Yeah, it's cinematic. It's a cinematic playlist. I kind of like it. Good morning, Legendary Channel. Thank you so much, Otam. I really appreciate that. Not the best YouTuber out there, but I can help you learn how to find these levels to watch, the right levels to watch. The market pumped just like Heath said. Heath said the market had been screaming. Yeah, I was looking for it last week, to be honest with you. I was looking for the rip. And even though my longer term bias is short on Bitcoin, I've been trading heightened volatility areas for years. Like I was around during 2020. I was around during the 2019 crash, if you want to call it that. So I know how volatility can affect people. You can see big moves to the upside, big moves, like even bigger moves than you had going lower, and then price gets sold off again. So just keep that in mind. It's very difficult trading. Make sure you're taking your entries at very good places. If you're looking to day trade, you want to typically get those close to, the low of day if you're looking to go long, and close to the high of day if you're looking to go short. If you're looking to scout that daily range. Pancake day today. Nice. Like pancakes myself. The market. Okay, just read that. Thank you. Remember to smash the like. People, yeah, if you don't mind, that would be fantastic. Hey, all, Portugal. Welcome. Are you from Portugal? You're in Portugal? Beautiful place. Last month close. Trades inside last month's range. That has me not too bullish yet. That is very important to understand. And it's a good thing to know, right? Because while people are looking at this, hourly pump on the 5-minute time frame and seeing this massive bullish move, you're still trading inside of that monthly candle. Absolutely. Let's get rid of all these drawings. This baby right here. Yes. There is your high. There is your low. And as you can see, you are clearly trading inside of that candle. So for anybody that's new here, there's only 3 kinds of candles. There's only 3. You have trending candles, inside candles, and outside candles. This is an inside candle. So what we look for once this occurs, especially on a higher time frame, is we look for a trending candle to be the next candle. So which way is that going to be? Well, it looks like it wants to look for the high. And, that's what we were looking for. Ultimately, we were looking for price to trade back up to from anywhere from 52 to 55,000 before it initially rolled over. And then see if that area wants to hold as resistance. As that would be the short that I would want or, would rather take if it is indeed going to finish out being a bear market for the rest of the year. You want to get that short position in at a high price. That way you don't have to do anything. But as we've seen, like on Doge and SHIB and a lot of other cryptos, you've already come off 80%. So, yeah, these things can start to look for, bullish price action now. 80% off of an asset is a good buy. If it's a good asset. And as we know, everything in crypto pumps when Bitcoin pumps. So it does look bullish for the very, very near term. We will stay bullish and we'll be looking for that monthly high of $47,000 to be taken out. But that puts you above the yearly opening range. So there is your yearly open right there. And that level could potentially, be a good spot to watch as well for potential short side entries. But the higher it goes, the better. If it continues, when will I be bullish longer term? If we get and trade above $60,000 again, I'll be bullish. Because I know that's where the supply is. That's where everybody's dumping. So if Bitcoin gets back up into the $60,000 region, then what you will have is buy side is probably, the demand is kicking back up again. and you want demand for an asset to continue higher. I just need to put yearly open here so I know what it is. Sorry about that. But yeah, so we could potentially be looking for that monthly high right there to get taken out. And then you can look for a 50% test of this candle's range, right? Because then you probably will get that. Bitcoin wants to trade higher. So that puts you right at 52K. The reason I'm looking for $60,000 is if we come back over here to the 2-week chart. I've said this multiple times, but for anybody that's new here, you can see this level here, and you can see up here. This is 60 grand. This is $60,000. So basically what you have is the market. I mean, I understand that it's a little bit lower than $60,000, like $15 lower, but still, that's the resistance. You had a couple closes above it, almost a month worth of price action above it, and then it dumps. And you can see over here that it had trouble at $60,000. Here is a supply zone, right? 2-week supply zone. So price trades under it, comes back in, but it did not hold. We were actually looking for it to roll over there when this first 50% push or 50% correction came in. We were looking for Bitcoin to make a lower high and roll over. But instead what it did is it smoked the highs. So it did a liquidity run. Just went up, took out the highs, and then rolled over, which is normal. And in the crypto sphere, there is no rules or regulations, so anything and everything can be going on. You can have market spoofing. You can be, the markets can be manipulated without any SEC involvement. Markets are all manipulated, all of them. So we trade with the manipulation, or we try to. Occasionally we're off sides, but most of the time we're right. But yeah, so this is the zone of which I want to see Bitcoin trade back up to, and then stop dead in its tracks and roll over if my bias of it continuing to the short side is correct. But if it gets above that, then I have to, look back and say, well, there's a good chance that this thing might be wanting to look to go higher. And then I'll have a bullish bias again. You have to understand something. I'm holding spot. I am only accumulating Bitcoin. So when I'm going short, I get paid in Bitcoin. If I make money on my trades, I'm getting paid in Bitcoin. So I am accumulating as much Bitcoin as I can. The strategy that I am implementing is about the same as if you go long spot and you sell call options, right? Or put options, sorry. Yeah. You're long spot and you're selling puts. That's as long as you can get on an asset. So I am extremely long on Bitcoin long term. So I am holding long spot. So if price goes higher, then I love that, right? Everybody loves it when Bitcoin goes higher. But for right now, we have to respect the volatility that we have. The VIX isn't at really high areas yet, but it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. You're setting it at 31. Since March 2020, this is when that happened. Please understand that this was an outside event. This isn't something that you can look forward to happening ever. I mean, when the S&P 500 comes off almost 50% in the span of 3 weeks, that's not good. Or 6 weeks. This is a 2-week chart, so not good. I mean, we don't ever see VIXs above 30. In fact, the norm, if you look over here, this is the norm. So once we had the March 2020 sell-off, VIX didn't even really get back down to its normal prices of a 10 read. That's where we want the VIX for bullish conditions. You want the VIX to be setting at the 10 read, 10, anywhere from 10 to 15. Anything over that is higher volatility. That means premium is more expensive. That means you could see bigger moves to the upside and to the downside when volatility increases. So you do have increasing volatility. That is bearish. That is bearish. So no matter what anybody says, when this thing is moving higher, that is bearish. 100%. Someone asked, what is volatility of the volatility? That is your VVIX. It's the volatility of the volatility index. It looks like that, right? So volatility of volatility isn't climbing yet. if this starts to climb too, then that's going to be not so good, right? Not so good. So this is still looks okay. It is still higher than it used to be before March 2020, but it is what it is. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. Yeah, everything being like that, I can't see Bitcoin making new all-time highs in such volatility. But it's possible. I mean, anything can happen. Anything. Can I please have a look at pound NZD? Absolutely. I don't trade this currency because of the spreads. The spreads on New Zealand, the New Zealand currency is ridiculous. And then when you pair it against something like this, that's not bad at all, actually. What is up with that? That is strange. Usually this thing's clocking in at like 8. All right, so let's look at it. You've been seeing downside, so I guess that means when the pound is compared to the New Zealand or the Kiwi, it's looking a little bit rough here lately. It was on a one-sided trend for a very long time, and that trend is starting to cool off a bit. You're extended to the downside. You're at oversold regions. So are you looking for this to bounce? Just be careful trying to pick a bottom, right? Because when something's overcooked to the downside, it doesn't mean it's going to turn around. It it does occasionally. Here was an oversold read, and then you priced jumped up a little bit, and then you stabbed lower down into the oversold region. So oversold doesn't mean you're looking to buy it. Oversold means that means the momentum is moving lower. So when your momentum is aimed in one direction, you typically want to trade in that direction. But right now, it's getting a bit extended. So when price does get extended like that, typically it will pull back. It will retrace. So yeah, I guess you can watch for that. Let's get a level though. Let's get an absolute level. Now that we know that it's bearish. You got daily support there, but there's really nothing else. This is an old something or another. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a quarterly level. It's just an old quarterly high. You got quarterly resistance here. So you see this 3-month level? Almost completely engulfed that candle. That is insane. Big, strong candle to the upside and then right back down. Crazy price action. This is the quarterly level, and it's also an old monthly supply zone. But when you have the higher time frame levels like that, price can trade in and around them like this. And, it is what it is. But that is where it is stopping currently. Next level of potential support could be this swing high here. So we'll put this line up there. It's a gap, but go by the bullish candle because the bullish candle is the resistance, the old resistance. It's the old resistance. So if old resistance is going to be support, that's about where you would want it to be. And you can see that it's old resistance because of that, and that. Right? It was absolutely resistance. This was the breakout. There was your continuation. So price could pull back there. And if it does, then you would be really cooked on the oversold reading. You're just at the 50 on the weekly. So it could also turn here. Just keep an eye on it. I don't like today's price action. You're bullish on the day, but you can see that that's falling. So let's go over here and look at the intraday. I would need at least this downtrend on the hourly chart to be broken out before I'd even start to attempt to get long on this asset. Let it get above this stuff first. Then you could potentially look for bullish entries. But right now, I don't like it either side, short or long. I would just leave it. My girlfriend got a job with BHP, and they offer 2 times what you put in for company shares. I was wondering if you could take a look. We have to position in yearly April's. Okay, so she wants to perform, or she wants to go in with the company, BPH. Let's go look at it. It's on the Australian exchange. Is that it? Or am I wrong? It looks really bad. This might not be it. Maybe if you can give me another ticker on that, because I don't see. I mean, if that's it, it looks really bad, and any time could be a good place to buy. It trades like a penny stock though, big rips and then gets sold off. So maybe you can give me another ticker. I'll check down at the bottom for every now and then. BHP, got it. BHP. Oh, let me get rid of that. Yeah, that looks better. And it's still on the ASX, so it's still an Aussie stock. It looks okay. Let's go out to the let's check the quarterly chart, because I mean, yeah, it's a climber. It's a climber. So you're pretty much going to be getting in real close to all-time highs, which I mean, these things they go up, right? They just keep going up. Even though it's all-time highs, it can still go higher. And if you're investing into it because, she plans on working there for a while, and anytime a company has stock options, you definitely want to get involved, because they, like you said, however many you buy, they match it in some cases. So if you buy one share, they buy one share. But you said 2-to-1, so that's a fantastic deal. That's to basically make people that work at the company, let them invest into the company themselves as well. It usually works out pretty good. This entire chart, I mean, it's usually going up. It looks like it had a lot of pressure over here, but anytime you get big pullbacks like that, that's a buying opportunity, especially if the company is solid. Just because its stock pulls back a lot does not mean that it's going out of business, right? Doesn't mean it's going out of business. So yeah, I would probably just go ahead and start buying it. It doesn't really matter where it is, because you're expecting it to go higher over time. Like 10 years from today, where is this going to be? Likely higher. As far as when to buy, like, you have a really good support zone down here on the daily. Right there. You can see that this wick also lines up in that. So you have this swing low, price traded up, and you're back down into it. So that's a support zone. 44.69 is a good place to look for buying opportunities. And you can do it on the weekly as well. Just look for those weekly bearish candles and look to buy the close of them. And on this scenario, you don't have any. But you can look to like buy here, because you can see how you got these 3 weeks that were sideways, basically trying to get over this resistance. So old places of resistance can potentially be buying opportunities in the future if it gets down there. But yeah, looks okay. Had a little bit of trouble, but looks like it's finding it. So yeah, 44.69. Anything over $35 is going to be good opportunities to buy, and if they're buying twice, then that's an awesome perk. Fantastic job. That's like a career job there. So good for her. I'm happy for y'all. Read that. NZD Aussie going up. Well, I can't look at NZD Aussie. I have to look at Aussie New Zealand, because NZD AUD is not a tradable asset. Not for me. It might be for you in another country, but in America, we have to trade Aussie New Zealand unless we get on the ICE markets. ICE. I'm pretty sure that's the only place you can trade New Zealand Aussie. Yeah, IDC. Sorry. Yeah, see, we can't trade this in America. We have to trade the other way. So I'll look at it this way for you. And then if you're trading the New Zealand Aussie chart, just invert it. Brian's asking me to look at. Hang on one second, Brian. Let me look at this real quick. Aussie New Zealand is moving higher. So I was looking at this to potentially roll over last week, but it did not. Did not. So that, let me get on OA, and I can't stand. Yeah, that looks much better. Yeah, so it did roll over for a little bit, but now it's getting a pop back up. So it looks like people are going to call this a head and shoulders. It hasn't formed yet, but I mean, potentially it could. I'm not a pattern trader, and I do not care. Even if you do call that a head and shoulders and you are looking to trade that, you've already busted the neckline of the pattern. So it's not a legit pattern. So what I would do is potentially look for this to go higher, because you found support, now you're moving up, and you are in an uptrend. You are in an uptrend. So as long as that trend is intact, you have to stick to it or stand by it. There's really no point in putting a trend line here, but wouldn't take any trades off of the trend line. But you can definitely, you are testing daily res right now. Trying to grab that. That is your daily resistance. So, I mean, yeah, it looks like it's trying to break out. If it gets above that, then I would potentially be looking to go long, potentially tomorrow. Not today, though, because today's already had its move. Let's see what it looks like intraday. Choppy, sideways mess is what it looks like intraday. But it is green on the day. When this thing, it can do this a lot, like trade very, very sideways, because the two currencies are so closely related to one another. They do this a lot, but when it does start to trend, it can trend. It can trend really, really good. I mean, just look at these big, big, long trends. It's been going higher for a while, so that's the trend. I would keep it up. If it rejects here, if you close black below one spot 07284, which is this daily res, then you could potentially look for short side entries on it instead. But if it closes above that today, you will have a breakout above resistance. So you'll be potentially looking for that to hold as support moving forward. And then Brian wants me to check out RUSL. I guess this is that Russian thing. I mean, you're picking a bottom is exactly what you're doing. But you said you went long at 645. That means you... Oh, man, I do not understand why you do that. But you do it all the time. I would probably take profits. I mean, you traded right up into that. So when the market opens today, I would probably take profits. This thing is getting crushed. It's probably going to keep getting crushed as long as it keeps doing what it's doing. And then look at this. Just, So you bought, if you look over here, you bought like here. That's what you did, right? And you've had 2 days of upside. So take profits, because this thing can drop another $20. Well, no, it can't drop $20. It's only $9. You said you bought it at $6.45. Yeah, definitely take profits, because as long as they're in a conflict, this is probably not going to bounce or get any traction moving higher. It got absolutely crushed, but it's been getting crushed for a while. It's almost like something knew something, right? Way before they ever invaded. But the invasion's definitely got it dropping hard. But good job. I mean, take your profits and run. That's what I do. Opinion about GTC, my friend. What is that? Let's go look at it. So there's a few of them. I'll look at this one because it's the top one. G-Tech Group. I don't know what it is. Never heard of it. Never traded it. It's not American. But it looks like you're breaking out. I don't see why. Earnings is all the way over here, and it says that this thing has very weird earnings schedule. In America, we do earnings every quarter, but All right, so you got a bounce, a big strong bounce, and you closed above resistance. So I would potentially be watching for it to hold. If it fails, then I would look to probably wait. If you're looking to go long, this is a nice move, big strong gap up, but you can see that yesterday it got sold back off. Didn't quite get back down, back to close lower than it opened, so it stayed green on the day, which is fantastic. So if you do pull back, you're going to be watching this price, 28.60. That would be where I would look for potential support. So like in the next day or two, if you get to pull back down to here, what you want to do is you want to watch that on a daily closing basis. So price can trade around it all day long. It's where does it close in reference to this line. And as long as it's not closing below it, then I would start looking for bullish entries, the next couple days. So there's a reason why it's breaking out. Now, if you look over here, this thing does it a lot, right? Big strong moves, and then the moves get faded. Same thing there. Big strong move, and then it got faded. And this stuff over here, man, that's just disgusting. This asset has very little liquidity in it. Very little liquidity. So that's why you get these wicky, spiky moves. Spikes up and then gets faded. So just keep an eye on 28.60. That's the near-term level for potential day trades. Or, potential. You could buy it and hold it even. I just don't know what it is. If it's a good company, then yeah. And it looks like a good company, right? It's not as high as it was, but for the last couple of years, it's been doing all right. Yes, been doing all right. Keep an eye on that level right there, 28.60. I like it. And then petrol prices here in Aussie, absolutely nuts. Filled up my car for well over 100. Damn, that does suck. That is terrible. Absolutely. SPX, yeah, I mean, we're probably going to be watching to see if it finds support. These are very bearish conditions that we're in. There's a ton of stuff. Let's get rid of them. Very bearish conditions, but last week you did get a spike. Yesterday you traded lower and you came right back up. That's Sunday's price action. That's that gap lower. So I know this looks bearish. I know it looks like, hey, it's found resistance. Let's short it. And since you are in bearish conditions, that typically would make sense. But right now, I wouldn't look for shorts unless you got back below this. Because you did fill the gap and you're getting a pullback. But as long as this candle support is intact, I would be looking for longs. That's just me. You're not down. You're not even down a full % on it yet, so it can recover from that easily. Now, if it was down 2%, I wouldn't be looking for longs because obviously the momentum would be bearish. But right now, it's down less than 1%, so it's neutral on the day essentially. So look for support right now. 4333 spot 60 is going to be your potential support near term. If you get an hour close below it, then what you want to see is the next candle immediately get out of there. But if it doesn't, then you're going to see continuation. And the trade, the short side entries already occurred. It occurred right here when you made this trap. I would have been looking for price to come back up and test that. But let's check the 5-minute and see if it did, because it didn't give you an opportunity on the hourly. Yeah, it did. So there's your breakdown. 15 minutes later, it came right back up into it, and then it rolled away. Once it left it, it didn't come back. So that was the short. That played out. So now people are taking profits. Boom, boom. That's why you're getting a bounce here. That's where I would have been taking profits as well, because it's support. Once you take out the low of day, then that's your target. And what time does this open? This opens at the same time as Bitcoin, so 1900 hours. So this was your low of day. Right there was your low of day, and you've already taken that out. Now, when the New York stock market opens, this is going to do whatever it wants to do. But I think I would probably be watching it for a long, in my opinion. That's just today, though. Roxby Downs, I don't know what that is. AP13 USDT. All right. AP13 USDT. Never heard of it. And it's not on there. AP13 USDT. Yeah, doesn't have it. So you're probably looking at something on a different platform. If it's an NFT or something like that, TradingView isn't going to have it. Didn't we look at GTC? I think I'm backtracking. That's the one. Yeah, we looked at GTC already. Cheers a ton, Heath. You're welcome, my friend. Big Australian mining conglomerate. Got you. Yeah. You said find one that pays dividends. Haha. Yeah, dividends are nice. So, you can live off of dividends. You can live off the dividend payment if you got a lot of money. That's why you hear the old saying, if the more money you have, the more money you make. That's true, because you invest it. You invest it into a good, strong company that has rock solid fundamentals and that pays a decent dividend. And then you put all of your money in that company. Not only do you have the benefit of growing your money as the company grows, but you can literally live off of the dividend payment alone, right? So keep your money stocked in that stock and then just live off the dividends. It's a fantastic place to be. As long as the company doesn't struggle or shut down, that's the one caveat with investing all of your money into the stock market is because, well, it can crash. But it usually always picks itself back up. Like Coca-Cola, something like that. Something that's been around forever and literally isn't going anywhere and has no debt. Those are the companies to invest in. For long term. I'm talking for the rest of your life type of stuff. Yeah, we were thinking going in yearly over the next 3 to 4. That's a fantastic strategy to implement. Olympic Dam has all the nasty chemicals known to man, as well as uranium. I worked there for 8 years. Oh man, blue chip stock. Gotcha. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Can you check SPX levels and intraday as well? Yeah, that's what we're currently on. So this is the level right here for me. That's the only level I worry about or that I'm going to watch today. If we drop below that, then the long is over with. Then you're not looking to go long here. This does look like a lot of momentum. But remember, if you look at the percent change on the day, you're less than 1%. So you're at 0.54%. On a very slow day, that can be all the SPX moves. You know what I mean? I've seen it happen a million times, but at the same time, it's not that big of a downside move that it can't recover from. So if it's going to go long, then this would be a good spot to do it. It is a new low of day, though, so you have to keep that in mind. You are red on the day. Excuse me. But yesterday had a big down day. So, that looks to me like I would be looking for support. It looks like it's trying to go higher. Now, you did take out the swing high, too, so that sucks. So, yeah, that's a couple days worth of highs right there. You smoked and then you're pulling back. So, yeah, maybe it doesn't happen today. Maybe the long is tomorrow. Because once you take out the swing highs and then you get a bearish move, sometimes people are going to look for continuation to the downside. Because it says a lot. It tells you a lot of things. It's a liquidity run. And when you get a liquidity purge like that and then price trades away from it, that could indicate that you're going to see more downside on the day. So watch $4,333. That's not going to translate to the same price on the SPY. So let's go look at the SPY. All right, so on the SPY, you're up. That's going to gap lower. That can't be right. The SPX is down. And this tracks the SPX. So whatever's going on, it's probably too early for it. This is going to be down here. So this is the support zone that you're going to be watching. That one and this one. So on the SPY, you're going to watch there and there. If you get an hourly close below 431.36, then it's going lower. Right? Next potential support's going to be all the way down to 428. But the day trade is probably going to be a long somewhere here, 432 or 431, because that's where price is currently on the SPX. It's playing with this level here. So, yeah, those are the two levels I like for potential longs. And the only reason I'm looking for potential longs is because of the continuation from that bullish move. Yesterday, if you were going to see massive bearishness, you should have seen it yesterday. And then you got a big pump, and then it sold off, and right before the close of the day, you were done, but your high of day did come in at what time? 11 o'clock. So your high was in at 11 o'clock. All right, with that being said, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. You all have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, as always, drop them down in the comment section below, as I always answer them. And make sure you guys watch your risk out there in a heightened volatility area. You definitely want to make sure you're taking smaller position size trades if necessary. So that way you can widen those stops a little bit. It'll help you in the long run. So make sure you trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.